Hello, friends and everyone. Welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. As I speak, I believe you've purchased your Windows VPS server, isn't it? If you don't know anything about this, that means you haven't watched the previous video. We are deploying our web API into server. The first video spoke about how you can purchase a VPS server. So as I speak, if you're able to make that purchase, you then have your IP address, which is your public IP address. You have your port, you have your username and your password. These components are what we need in order for us to put them together to connect to our VPS server. Now that we have all this, let's launch our RDP, which is the remote desktop protocol. As soon as you install Windows, you can find that on it. So you need not to install any external package for that. So let's do that. So I just hit on my window key and I'll type in RDP, which opens a link to the remote desktop connection. And in that, I'm going to have it here. Let me put it on the screen. So after you're done launching your remote desktop connection, that is on your screen, all that you're going to be doing is to provide the necessary credentials which are provided by the VPS provider, and then we can connect. But before we do that, when we are done publishing our API, we need to copy and paste it on our server. We don't want to use FTP or any. We can also use the same RDP here to copy files from our local machine to our server. But before we do that, you have to make sure that you have drives checked. Go to show options, and then in that you go to local resources, check for clipboard, and then click on more. Make sure you check for drive. Click on that. Now click on OK. And then here, when you come to general, you're going to provide your IP address, which is the public provided to you, and then with the port. Okay. And then you're going to provide your username. So for example, you can see from here, I have my IP address. This is my local IP address. But you're going to pass in your server IP address, and then you're going to have your port as I have indicated. Make sure you follow the format well. And then provide the username. So this username will be provided to you as well. And then click on connect. Okay. Now, as soon as you do that, it will ask you the type here, remote desktop connection, and that is a remote computer. So there is the address. And now, would you want to connect? Then click on connect to make it work. The next stage that you're going to be doing is to click on yes. You need to make sure we trust the certificate. So click on yes. Oh, amazing. And now we are in. So this is our server that we purchased, a Windows Server 2022, and now we have it. When you open to this, the first thing that I'm going to be doing is to add roles and features. So you can launch that from this wizard. Then you click on the start, and in here, from the start, you can go in for Server Manager. Now click on Add Roles and Features. So let's wait for this. When it's ready, yes, it's ready now. And then we can go to Next. Click on Remote Based. What is a remote? Role based or feature based installation. Click on Next, then Next. And now for our roles, maybe we will need only the IIS, that is the Internet Information Service. We need that so we can host our maybe our client feature video. Click on Next. And then for our features, we want to make sure we have .NET Framework 4.8 installed. We also want to make sure we have our antivirus, that is the Windows Defender. I think we have a PowerShell. Then where's our Defender? We also want to check that. And then click on Install. So these are the features that we need in order to work with what we're going to be doing. After the installation, we are good. So our server is ready, and now we can put our project here to make it available all over the world. That's amazing. So what is the way forward to handle this? So let's minimize our server. I am not closing, I'm rather minimizing it. I am back to my local machine. Let's open our Visual Studio. Now our project, make sure your project is open in an admin mode in the Visual Studio. So I have this, and that is my project, product project. In here, I can perform CRUD operations in here. So I can just test it out by running to see whether this is working. Okay, so when you check here, I have my skill also integrated. And then let's go to get product. From this response, let's see if it's actually connected to database. Yes, of course. So we have 404 not found. That means we need to add category. So we can add product. So we have category added. Then we can go to product, post, and then add a product. And that is it. So we only go to get and get all. You see we have that. If I open my dbeaver and check if I am actually connecting to my database, you can see from here I have this product DB. Now from this schemas, I can check from my DBO, my table, and I have this product. I can go and read. So let's view table. Okay, and I have the ID of one, the product name, the quantity, and now category ID. So this project is working locally. Great. Now is the time for us to publish it. But before we do it, we need to make sure we create a database. But we don't want to create a database manually on our server. You know, here, when we're creating database in the local project, we added migration. We updated the migration file so that the database can be created for us automatically with the various tables, isn't it? We want to also do same. So on our server, we are not having a Visual Studio to perform migration. So we need to create a class which will do that as soon as we run it on our server. Let's create a class in that. And now since we are following clean architecture, we can put that in the presentation because that is where the migration head starts from. Okay, so in here, I'm going to create a folder and I'll name it as extension. So let's create a class and now name it as migration extension. All right, so within that, let's have a migration class. Maybe we can give it a name as apply migration. So whatever, you can give it a name that you want. And then let's have 3 lines of code, which will handle that for us. So when you look at this code that we have here, we want to create scope, and then we want to use this RDP context that we created in our infrastructure. And in that, we want to get a service. Since we cannot do injection here, we need to get a service. And then in that, we can have this database and perform migration. So here, all that we're going to be doing is to add the migration. We're not going to update it. And as soon as the app runs, it's going to migrate it automatically. Now that we have this set, let's go to our program.cs file. And in here, we're going to add that. When the app runs, we want to apply a migration. So we're going to say app dot, we can have apply migration, and that is it. Good. So now that we have this set, we need to go and change our database connection. So from this, we need our server here, right? So let's go and change it, add our server IP address. So we can even check from your RDP connection. You have it on top here. You can go grab that and I'll paste it here. Now for database, you're going to have our product DB over there. So, in purchasing the server, we checked database, right? So default is going to create or going to install database for us when we purchase it. But if you want to verify, you can just go to your server. Then you can even check from here, SSMS. You can just install this studio as well. And I believe you know this from deploying local machine, you know how to handle that. So I have my SQL Server installed over here, and I can also connect this to that. Let's open this and check this out. SQL Server authentication. And then I need to provide the name over here and now the password. So after I am done with this, all I'm going to do here is to click on connect and I'll check it out. Yes, I'm in. So when you go to databases, I have these databases here. I am not having the product DB, right? So after we are done with the migration, we should be able to have our database here. Then let's minimize this. Let's minimize our server. So in here, it means we need to provide the username and now the password, right? So we're going to say user ID. And now this is the ID, you provide it over here. And now you provide your password too. Okay, so I'm going to go offline and I'll provide this in there and so we can connect. Yeah, so I have provided them and they are there. They are hidden. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is to publish this API. But before we do that, we are having this our server IP address, and that is where we're going to be accessing our API from, right? So we go to solutions, then check from the presentation, you go to your LAN settings, and in here, instead of running from localhost with 5046, when you do this, you can access your application locally in the server, and it will work like that. But if you try to access it outside, it will not work. But you're going to maintain this. After publishing, we're going to have access to it. So when we try locally and it works, then we're going to change it to our server IP address so that everyone can have access to this endpoint. Okay, so let's maintain that. Now we're going to publish it. So right click on your presentation, then go to publish. Now here I have, I think, a published profile created already. But I'm going to create new profile so you can see the steps. Choose folder that you want to publish to. Click on next. And then from here, click on, I think there is an output, isn't it? Where do you want to keep it? Yes, okay. So that is a publish. Click on finish. We have a profile created. Then I'm going to close that. Now this is my profile. Click on show all settings. And then from here, you want to make sure it is released. Then from the target framework, definitely is 9.0. From our deployment mode, we can have a self-contained. Then we're going to choose our target runtime. We have when Windows x86, we're going to look for x64, right? Save. So now is the time for us to publish it. So click on publish. Now let's publish this project. Yes, so you can see from here, publish succeeded. And now we have this. Maybe we can check from our solution since it is going for this. Maybe let's navigate. And from our local machine, that is what we have here. There is a publish. So if I go to .NET 9, this is coming from my project. So from .NET 9.0, I have my publish folder coming from this release, coming from the bin, and now the project. So there's the presentation project. You go to the bin, and then in that you open it, go to release .NET 9.0, and I check for I think publish. Now that is this. So we can just grab this. Let's actually cut this from here. I'm going to paste it so I can change the name. Or as I've copied like this, let's go to the server and I right click on this and let's paste. So you can see from here we are copying files from our local machine straight to our server, and this will work. Let's wait for this. It's going to take some time. Let's wait for the completion of this so we can proceed to the next stage. So I want to check, you can see we have the file over here, and we can close this and give it another name. We're going to say product API, because the product API indeed. Then we're going to move this out from here. We can open a file explorer, go to computer. Then from here, we can check our local disk. Then maybe somewhere we can paste it up. So we have this product here. We need to install .NET Runtime so we can run this project. So let's go and install that. Currently, this project was built in .NET 9, so we need runtime of 9.0 to handle that. So open browser. Then here we need .NET Runtime, this one. So we go back to the download.net, which is from Microsoft.net.microsoft.com. On the server, then 9.0, this 8.0, click on all .NET 9 downloads. Then in here, we can have access to our runtime. So check from this is the SDK, this is our runtime, Windows X64, so download that. And when you are done, try to follow the wizard to get this installed. Good, I have done that already. So you know to do it again. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing here is we're going to launch our PowerShell. You know, we installed that. Let's put that in an admin mode. So PowerShell. All right, so we click on this, run as administrator. Then we want to navigate to our project. So currently, we're going to have access to all these files. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so these are the files that we have. We want to go back. Then ls, we have this. We want to navigate to this product API. So we have these files in our product API. So these are files that we have. Okay, now we're going to run this. Now, which file are we going to run? Because we have a lot of files here. So open it, go to product API, and then let's look out for our presentation.dll file. This is what we're going to be running. So e-commerce application, not that one, e-commerce presentation, not this one, this is an application. We want to locate the DL, so this one. So we can grab this. Then in here, let's say .NET. Let's paste it. But before we can click on OK to run this, we must make sure that we have 80.80 traffic open. So maybe we can check from our firewall. So let's go to Windows Defender Firewall. Then in here we can check for advanced settings. Then the inbound rules, create a new rule. I have that specified already. So I named it, I think, HTTP. Do I have that? Okay, so maybe we can go and create another one. So click on new rule. Then I'm going to say with the port. So click on port. Okay. Then click on next. Then allow TCP port of 80. Then next, give it name. So allow the connection. And here you can, from the next, you can give it check for all this. And now allow HTTP. And then we can give description and click on OK. So if I check allow HTTP, which takes in the port of 8080, right? You can just go to properties, and from the protocols and ports, you're going to find that here. Now let's go and run this project. Now look at that. You can see that migration started early and so quick. We have it set. You can see from here, migration has been performed. Check from this, yes. And now we have it. Now it is running on port of 5000, right? So we can grab this. Then let's open our browser again. Let's paste this here. Then we're going to have our Scala and our version 1. And now we are in. So let's check to see. Let's go and add category, or we can even add or get product. When we have 404, it means we are connected. Let's go and add this from category. We're going to make post, then send, and I can see we are in. Let's go and add product. And then we're also going to send this, and now also gone, right? If you open your SSMS, currently we do not have the database, but if I refresh this, we're going to have this database here, product, and we're going to have the table as product and category. Yes, our database is connected. So now that we have seen how to run our server, let's say our API on our server locally, in the next video, let's look at how we can extend it so that on our local machine, we can access this app. All right, guys, so we've seen how to run application locally on our server. So stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be amazing as this. If you have any issue with this when trying to follow, let me know and I'll be available to assist you. All right, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then make sure you do that. And make sure to click on the notification bell so you do receive updates as soon as I upload new content. All right, so that is it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.